モンスターハンターシリーズは今年の3月に20周年を迎えます。
Man, why does it feel like we've been waiting for so long? What day even is it now? Oh my!
The prophecy is true.
Hello, my fellow hunters! Oh, it has been too long since I have said that wonderful sentence. How are you all doing? You wielders of weapons, wonderful. You slayers of creatures, terrifying. Even, yes, you longsword mains. Today, you're welcome. I'm joking. Look, it's here. We're in the month. It's March 2024. It is the 20th anniversary right now. Well, okay, no, I am lying to you a little bit. It's the 20th anniversary on the 11th, which is still a week away, but this is the last opportunity that I will have to essentially, talk about this, the anniversary month and what it might bring and my hopes for it, and hear the same from you wonderful, lovely people, and B, lay down, finally, my predictions for the top monster poll, which is seemingly, supposedly, going to be revealed very soon, the results of, giving 3 monsters their lofty place as the monsters in Monster Hunter. And well, obviously it's going to be Brachydios, Raging Brachydios, and somehow out of nowhere, Ice Blast Brachydios. I do find myself very curious, because not only will this be quite the title to hold for said 3 monsters, they're going to get their custom, new, presumably badass pieces of artwork, which I'll be honest, really makes me want to have something like out of nowhere Gypsaros win, just so Gypsaros of all creatures has to have this incredible new work done of him. But we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So yes, Monster Hunter 1 released March 11th in 2004. We are, as I said, a week away from that anniversary, but firmly now in the 20th anniversary month, the month that they very much highlighted as the month of festivities. Talking of those festivities, just after I finished saying these things, they started to do the countdown to the top monster. They're going to give us 20 to 1, and as you can see, Valstrax takes said 20th spot, which I find kind of about right for him. He's hugely popular, but didn't get a huge role in the 5th gen, so yeah, okay. And then at number 19, Shagaru Magala. This is interesting. I was convinced both Magalas would be in the top, handful. I think they are exceedingly popular monsters, but I am surprised Shagaru's low as 19. It does make me wonder where Gore is, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but yeah, it is good that he is on here, but this one definitely, I think, is a little bit low. And then the biggest surprise, and currently getting you up to date as of literally today, the day that you're listening to this when it goes out, Namielle takes the 18th spot, which is awesome. Namielle is phenomenal, and I was kind of worried that she'd sort of gone under the radar, just a new Elder Dragon in the expansion that was Iceborne, but no, clearly not, and rightfully so. This is very, very cool. A surprise, but certainly a welcome one. As is this, a special 20th anniversary program we're going to get for Monster Hunter in a little bit next week. That is very, very cool. Now, don't get too, ahead of yourselves. It's not going to reveal anything wild, and it's not going to announce any new games. They have said that much, but past that, it could be anything. It really, really could be. So, yeah, it does give a lot more, a whole program. I imagine there'll be a lot of celebrating Monster Hunter's history, but really nothing kind of, here's a thing we're doing for the anniversary, surprise! It seems almost destined to be that, right? So, in theory, there is presumably more to come, right? We've got the Monster Poll, that's gonna happen, and we know that as far as Monster Hunter Wilds is concerned, there's not going to be any new information until the summer. Unless, of course, that was a cheeky, sneaky little misdirection, and then, whoa, out of nowhere, here's a little bonus anniversary tease, because we love ya. Oh, Ryozo, if only. But I doubt that will happen either. So what remains then is, well, what else is planned for the anniversary? I find it hard to believe that it would just be the monster poll, right? They've made a big deal of it. Well...
Oh, sacred kinship stone, bind thyself to this young spirit!
Yeah, we have had quite the little announcement. The original Monster Hunter Stories is coming to Switch, PC, and PlayStation in the summer. And not only that, it's now fully voiced in English. It's essentially a remaster, because it's also getting a lot of the content that wasn't in the base English version that we got, that the Japanese version did have. So really, if we want the answer to what Monster Hunter game's getting remastered for the anniversary, there we go! Original Monster Hunter Stories! Case closed, moving on. Alright, forget the rest of the video. Okay, no, look, this is really lovely. I don't think it is tied to the anniversary. They've certainly not mentioned the anniversary in context of it, but it's a really nice thing to happen. The original Stories is a fantastic experience, and I heartily recommend, well, this. It does make you wonder some things, though. Those things that you wonder might be a good bit of wondering for another little talk soon, but for now, there's more things happening. There has been a few things that have certainly come to the fore, little things like the Alatreon creators model that is releasing just on the anniversary, which is absolutely wonderful, and god damn, I would do horrible, unspeakable things to get hold of it, but at the same time, it's still just kind of a figure. There is the MSI and Monster Hunter 20th Anniversary collaboration, which does bring some very, very cool Monster Hunter branded gear for your computer and all of your computery needs, which again is very much awesome to see, but is that really going to be it? A poll, a figure, and some graphics cards with a Rathalos on it? And I don't say that to diminish it. I really would love it if my computer had a graphics card with a Rathalos on it, but the point I'm trying to take this to is presumably the main thing, right? The anniversary event is going to happen on the anniversary, or in the anniversary month. It won't be something pre-announced that will happen. Surely it's going to be a, hey, we're here, it's the 11th, here's the anniversary event for the 20 years of Monster Hunter, and on that front, surely it's going to be, well, big? You would hope, you would think. I have to assume there is going to be some sort of event going, but the level is what's up for debate. It could be anywhere from another poll-esque thing, where it's some sort of community engagement, maybe the finale of Return to World, maybe we do a return to a different Monster Hunter game, maybe it's Return to Monster Hunter 1, but how do we do that, I hear you cry? It's long gone, you need an emulator, and, you know, ooh, well, what if we return to Monster Hunter 1 by a remastered version that's now playable on your Steam, on your Switch? Again, that is pure hope speculation, of course, but that would be the other extreme end. The, hey, you were all right all along. It's time to finally... Wait, no, sorry, I got mixed up there. It's time to finally go back to the roots, to the origin of Monster Hunter in a fully now playable on modern systems. No emulator needed, but otherwise it's pretty much the same game, which is the way to do it, because every Monster Hunter does have its own signature that is worth exploring. It's not worth the work to modernize it into world style, because then it just loses its charm anyway, and it just becomes a worse world. But the idea of, hey, we have made it so Monster Hunter 1 or an older game is now just fully playable and works on modern systems and sources, yeah, really, really cool. But again, that is the extreme end of, woo, it's not likely at all. But what is perhaps more likely is we finally get a little bit more meaning to the anniversary logo, the weapons, the seemingly countdown, the clock. Though that said, not a lot has happened with it, right? If it was a countdown, you would think more weapons would have gotten filled in over time as we get closer to this date, but that's kind of yet to have happened, so maybe that just is what it looks like, and there was never really anything meant to actually be read into there. Or maybe the 11th, the actual anniversary date, is going to be the time the clock starts ticking down and the time we get our second weapon filled in. Bottom line, what I would guess would happen is at some point, so either on the 11th or soon in this month, we will get our next big community event, like the Monster Poll, something celebrating Monster Hunters, and we can all get involved in that will bring us together and have this really cool moment, just like Return to World did, and I adored every second of that. It really was an honor to share that with you all and get back in there, the pro and noob as well. It's just great. I only wish it could last all year, but sadly, all good things and all that. But I would love your guys' thoughts and ideas on what they might actually do and what you would like to see in a sort of realistic sense, I think is probably the best way to put it. But that said, to bring it back to said Monster Poll, as I mentioned, I do want to finally actually lock down my choices. And as much as I said, Gypsaros and like Cephadrome and like Plesioth being the top 3, so they have to get artwork, it's not likely. But when we try and answer the likely here, it's quite tricky. Before World and Iceborne came out, it would have been easy. It would have been a slam dunk of course it's going to be Zenoga and Gormagala and then probably Kezu, because everyone weirdly loves Kezu. Or, maybe it's not so weird. But now we have to allow for the fact that 20 million people more have been introduced to Monster Hunter and have fallen in love with it from World onwards. So presumably that gives a huge advantage to world monsters. Not new world monsters per se, but monsters that were in World and then subsequently Iceborne, because they will have the vast majority of people voting for them, because the vast majority of 5th gen onwards Monster Hunter players haven't gone back and played the old games, which is completely fair enough, although them are quite awkward to get working. And with that in mind, I will go for Zenoga as one of the 3. He had the previous popularity, but he did make it into Iceborne, which gives him another wave of popularity, and he's in Rise and Sunbreak, and I think that's a fairly safe bet. The other safe bet, I think, is, as much as I just kind of said it in jest, Gormagala. He got that little bump in Sunbreak, but I think he is the one monster pre-5th gen that carries with him enough of a legend to still win out in a poll like this. I think there's enough legacy Monster Hunters that really cannot get enough of Mr. Gore, and it's easy to see why. He is iconic in many ways. The last spot, however, I think is much harder to actually go for. Something like Tigrex or Nagakuga, one of the classics that always crops up. As much as I'd like it to be Brachydios, it's not likely. This is the one where I think we have to essentially choose the most popular monster that was in World. But that's also kind of difficult to put your finger on. Is it Nergigante? That seems like the obvious one to come to mind, but then you've got something like B-52 Bomber himself, who really became iconic. And that might divide the vote between them enough that ironically neither of them makes it, which definitely would be a shame. Though I do think it probably ultimately comes down to one of them. So, I think I'm gonna go for Nergigante. It might be a little bit obvious, but I'm trying to work this out, I'm trying to statistically deduce it, and that's kind of where I feel like. Though, knowing me, it probably is just gonna turn out to be Zenoga, Gormagala, and Kezu, and, all of this was kind of pointless. I realize my final list also has Gormagala and Zenoga, but hey, I think they are easy wins. It's that third spot that really takes some thinking. But for now then, yeah, we are here. This is the 20th anniversary month, It's exciting, and I am happy to have proudly played Monster Hunter for all of those 20 years, starting from the first game. That is really cool to be able to say, and no matter when you joined, thank you all for being part of both the Monster Hunter community and this community here on the channel. It really is wonderful enjoying this series with you guys. But now then, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.